I'm definitely up for fighting. There's a lot of names in the division, for sure. But at the same time, look at what this creates as well. I'm a fighter and I understand that economics of business as well. And this does good business.
Have you lost your mind? This is Anthony Joshua that you just called out. You're fighting Anthony Joshua in less than a month. Why are you doing this?
I like to challenge myself. I like to take on the biggest, the best. I said anyone, anytime, any place. I truly mean that.
It's as serious in his same approach. If we're in the real world and he takes it serious, this fight should not go longer than about 30 to 60 seconds. That's all, and I love Jake. Even if he wanted to move around, there's nothing he can do.
Anthony Joshua has delivered a cold, serious warning to Jake Paul, and he isn't saying it for attention. Joshua, the former heavyweight champion known for his frightening knockout power and calm but dangerous presence, has made it clear that he isn't underestimating Jake Paul for even a second. His message isn't just a casual comment, it's a clear sign of what he intends to do. Joshua is reminding everyone that once you step into the ring with him, it doesn't matter if you're a world-class boxer or a crossover star like Paul. The moment the bell rings, you're facing a level of pressure, power, and intensity that most fighters never experience in their entire career.
Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua, really, in my view. It's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area-level fighter, a British area-level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glitz of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price on the planet in order to make that fight because it is dangerous.
Joshua's loss to Daniel Dubois in 2024 created a major dent in his legacy. For many fans, it was the moment they felt the heavyweight era he once ruled had officially passed him by. Instead of jumping straight back into another long, exhausting run for the belts, this matchup offers Joshua a different kind of opportunity. It's a comeback route with huge upside and far less risk. Fewer rounds, less wear and tear, a gigantic payday, and worldwide attention thanks to the Netflix spotlight. For Joshua, it's the perfect chance to rebuild his name, regain momentum, and remind the world why he was once the most feared heavyweight on the planet.
I do believe it because AJ's involved, and I think AJ'd struggle to he's going to take enough flack over this, but again, it's money talk. So I think AJ will struggle because it's an Owen situation. If he goes in there and Jake Paul lasts the distance, what does he tell you about AJ? Apart from he's just earned an extra 15 million quid. If he goes there and struggles with Jake Paul, then what's he say about AJ? Your heydays are well and truly over. If he goes in there and knocks him out, then I'll say that's to be expected. So the glory, there's probably not much glory in it, apart from the haters of Jake Paul to say, right, I've got rid of this kid. I think it's very brave of Jake Paul. So now the problem child has got to believe this fight's actually happening. So now you've got our attention. So now you've got to back up the boast. It's not about, you're not playing tiddlywink. This is the only game you can't play. You can play football, golf, tennis.
Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua isn't just a bold move, it's a dangerous one. Many experts say this isn't a normal challenge, but a serious risk to Paul's health. Analysts like Ariel Helwani have openly warned that Joshua's natural power, size, and years of experience could put Paul in real danger. They point to the kind of knockouts Joshua has delivered in the past, the kind that shut the lights out instantly, as a very real concern. For many in the boxing world, this matchup isn't just about fame or views. It's about whether Paul fully understands the level of punishment a true heavyweight like Joshua can deliver.
Joshua, in his last 7 fights, has been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, If this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a one-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury for crying out loud. You can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect to get a result. So, nothing's going to no doubt's going to disappear. All that's going to happen.
Rising heavyweight Moses Itama even stepped in with his own warning, telling Jake Paul to think about his health before thinking about the paycheck. He stressed that one badly timed punch from a true heavyweight can change a fighter's future in ways people don't always see. At the same time, former world champion Amir Khan didn't hold back either. He said straight up that Joshua has the kind of power that could hurt Paul badly, and that the risk of serious long-term damage is real.
You know what? I think it's a great fight, and I think Joshua sparked him out in like 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when I don't.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro. You're fighting like one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Like, come on. Like, respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get hurt badly, and this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly, because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on there. I mean, AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat stars there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you don't look. You can't be surprised if AJ's going to do the same to what's it called again? What?
Still, Jake Paul genuinely believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. In his mind, this isn't an impossible matchup, but a chance to expose what he sees as real weaknesses in Joshua's game. On his podcast, Paul spoke without holding anything back. He said Joshua's chin is unreliable, that his skills aren't as sharp as people think, and that his movement has become slow and stiff. Paul points to Joshua's recent knockout loss to Daniel Dubois as proof that the former champion's durability has taken a serious hit. In Paul's eyes, this is the perfect moment to step in.
Why is Jake Paul doing this? Well, I think it's because he genuinely believes there is a chance he can win this. I think he's calculated everything about Anthony Joshua's circumstances, and he's gone, yeah, I actually think I can do this. I can leapfrog so many years of having to build and go through the ranks and do all that stuff by beating a shop-worn Anthony Joshua. And what are the factors in Jake Paul believing this? Well, it would be firstly that AJ received a loss in his most recent fight. Anthony Joshua's not been in the ring since September 2024, so over a year by the time him and Jake Paul get in the ring together. It will have been around 15 months. It was the manner of Joshua's loss where he looked terrible. He looked like a fighter that was well past his best. His timing wasn't there. He even looked a little bit chinny, dare I say. I mean, I still think he's got a good chin. The shot he took from Dubois was absolutely massive and would have knocked down many heavyweights. And he showed decent powers of recovery to get up and struggle through for as long as he did before his over-aggression and miscalculation with the type of shots he was using got him knocked out by Dubois. But if you're deluded enough like Jake Paul, then perhaps you look at that and go, he landed a massive right hand on Joshua's chin. Why can't I do the same? I believe myself to be a very big puncher. And it's that old saying, isn't it? You know, you shoot for the stars, you might at least land on the moon. And I think that's kind of why Jake Paul's maybe got to where he is in life, because he does have too much self-confidence. He does believe in himself. Well, on this occasion,
Jake Paul says this fight is the moment he's been waiting for. The chance to silence every critic who ever said he only chooses smaller, older, or past their prime opponents. In his view, stepping in against Anthony Joshua, a full-sized heavyweight and former world champion, removes every excuse anyone could use against him. Paul insists that this is finally his chance to prove he belongs on the big stage, not as a YouTuber turned boxer, but as a legitimate contender.
They said, fight a real boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters.
While many fans and analysts find Jake Paul's confidence either entertaining or completely unrealistic, it reveals exactly how he's thinking going into a fight with one of the most seasoned heavyweights in the sport. Paul believes that his ability to be unpredictable, study his opponent's movements, and attack openings is something he can transfer from controlled sparring and lower-level fights into a high-pressure, high-stakes showdown. In his mind, strategy and timing can level the playing field.
Bring him up! Bring him up! Bring him up! Bring him up! He's not gonna get there without this shit!
One of the biggest realities in this matchup is the massive weight gap between the two fighters. Jake Paul came in at around 200 pounds for his fight against Mike Tyson, putting him at the very top of the cruiserweight limit. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, regularly steps into the ring at around 252 to 255 pounds, carrying true heavyweight size, muscle, and power. That means Paul could be giving up more than 50 pounds on fight
went
night.
down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even work? Like, how do you even... Never mind. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because it's not official and I don't think it's happening. So let's just not even broach that subject. But let's talk about the Anthony Joshua fight. And I want to hear the clip again because I just can't believe what I'm hearing. Let's play it again.
I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I know I will
just got
beat,
knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this shit, but I want to fight you.
So Jake says he wants to fight Anthony Joshua. He says he's going to beat Anthony Joshua's ass, that he doesn't have a chin, that he has no skill, and that he's stiff. And then you hear Derek again with the porn creeper stash chime in. Didn't he just get knocked out? Yeah, by Daniel Dubois, who is a reigning heavyweight champion of the world. Not that that means anything at all, I don't guess. Yeah, Jake's just flat out wrong here with a lot of his critiques of Anthony Joshua in comparison to himself. Like, if you want to say... for the elite heavyweights in the world that Anthony Joshua has a little bit less skill and is more stiff than they are, then okay, but Anthony Joshua is still an elite heavyweight in the world. And then to go as far as to say, I will beat
He has
Anthony
far
Joshua.
more experience than Jake Paul, and even Joe Rogan has stressed this while discussing the fight. Joshua has spent years battling world-class opponents, surviving tough rounds, and learning the small details that only come from facing elite fighters again and again. He's been tested at the highest level, under the brightest lights, with real pressure on the line. Paul, on the other hand, is still early in his boxing journey.
Dubois coming into his own, man. That's what that is. He's only like 27. That guy's fucking scary. He's dangerous. Going into that fight, it seems like he believed that he was just going to dominate him. He was so aggressive. He was just in the pocket constantly, just forcing Joshua to go to war. It was wild.
Everybody was like, look, to Joshua, I think you're done.
Right after he knocks out Francis Ngannou, and it's like, everyone's like, you're back.
Yeah.
Flattened Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, oh, Joshua's back.
Commentators Brendan Shaw and Brian Kenny have raised serious concerns that Jake Paul might be underestimating just how dangerous Anthony Joshua can be. According to Shaw and Kalin, Paul's casual attitude and confident public callouts don't show a realistic understanding of the risk he's taking. Joshua's power and experience are not something to be brushed off, and Paul's limited first-hand exposure to elite heavyweights could leave him vulnerable. While Paul carries himself with bold confidence and even bravado, the analysts warn that this mindset could backfire if he fails to respect Joshua's timing, skill, and raw strength. Their insights highlight a key lesson in boxing. Overconfidence against a top-tier opponent can be costly, and underestimating a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua could have serious, even career-changing consequences.
Enough sparring, getting hit, that you just know. You're talking about Olympic gold medalists. I don't think people understand how good Anthony Joshua is. They see him against Usyk or they see him against, Ruiz, and they're like, oh, he lost. And they think somehow that because he's nice, that he's not an absolute killer.
I don't think everyone knows that, B.
A lot of people are like,
You're hanging out with the wrong people then. I mean.
6'6", 245. Let me just say this. It's a different ecosystem. Look, Jake's a thick kid. 227 is a lot. It's heavy. He's big. He's athletic. But this is different. You're not Usyk. You ain't Usyk.
Jesus.
You're talking about a very different athlete.
Do you want me to go now?
Please.
With all your rambling here?
Please.
Dude, first of all, before I go in on the cojones on Jake Paul, you have got to.
That's what I said.
Whatever the fuck your criticism of the guy is, whatever. The cojones, the huevos on this fucking kid.
I agree.
To step in there with fucking Anthony Joshua is insane. He deserves all the money.
With 14 ounce.
And what he's doing is flipping boxing on its fucking head. And this is exactly what he's there for. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Kudos to him. Kudos to him.
100%.
Now, what bothers me is when you and other people go, I mean, Jake's 6'1", 227. I mean, it's insane. The other guy's 6'6". Jake could be 6'10".
I know.
300
I'm very
pounds of
aware of
shredded.
this.
What you guys are missing the mark on is Anthony Joshua is a gold medal winner in the Olympics.
It's high level professional. High level.
No, hold on. World champion. So I don't like it when we're talking like, dude, you know, he's
It's
so
not
much,
a physical
so much
thing.
bigger.
It's a skill thing.
So I'll say this, and I'm not saying it's a fake fight. It's rigged, especially because you got Eddie Hearn involved, and they're using 10-ounce gloves,
10-ounce
which is a big deal, and it's 8 3-minute rounds. 10-ounce gloves.
It's terrifying.
That's what you do in professional boxing, heavyweight boxing, which those do nothing, by the way.
They do nothing.
What you guys need to understand is, if this fight's not fixed, no one's taking a fall, cut all that narrative out. But I will tell you this. If Anthony Joshua decides to take this as serious as he did the Francis Ngannou fight, I don't need him to take it as serious as an Usyk fight. I don't take him as serious as fighting Klitschko. That's insane. It's literally impossible to take something like this that serious. If he takes it as serious as he did the Francis, which isn't that serious for him, but if he takes it as serious in his same approach, if we're in the real world and he takes it serious, this fight should not go longer than about 30 to 60 seconds.
Has a cautiously curious perspective on the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup. He warns that the fight might be pushing Paul too far because of the massive gap in experience and skill, yet he doesn't dismiss it entirely. Atlas points to Joshua's recent knockout loss and his long layoff as possible cracks in his armor, suggesting that even a fighter of Joshua's caliber can show vulnerabilities. While he acknowledges that Joshua remains the stronger, more skilled, and more powerful puncher, Atlas is interested in seeing which version of AJ will step into the ring. At the same time, Atlas is realistic about Paul's limitations. He believes Paul will never become a top-tier boxer, though he respects his work ethic, intelligence, and ability to promote himself. Atlas notes that Paul trained hard and didn't disrespect the sport, but in terms of reaching world-class status, he sees Paul as still very much a work in progress.
Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some
Podcaster and former UFC commentator Joe Rogan has called the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight one of the most dangerously unusual matchups in recent memory. He highlights Joshua's size, power, and extensive experience, pointing out that the former champion's Olympic pedigree and proven knockout ability make him a genuinely frightening threat for Paul. Rogan stresses that no contractual rules or special conditions will reduce Joshua's danger. His strength and skill aren't something that can be neutralized. He even points to Joshua's knockout of Francis Ngannou as a stark reminder of just how powerful and precise Joshua can be, warning that it serves as a clear example for Paul of the kind of danger he's stepping into. Rogan also notes the bigger picture. A loss to Joshua could seriously hurt Paul's reputation and star power. Right now, Paul draws huge pay-per-view numbers thanks to his massive social media following and crossover fame. But if Joshua were to dominate him in the ring, critics would have plenty of ammunition to claim that Paul lacks durability, isn't an elite athlete, and can't compete with true top-level professionals.
Joshua does him like he did at Francis Ngannou, it's going to be hard to sell a Jake Paul fight again. That's all I'll say. Losing to Tommy Fury by decision is like, whatever. I've never thought that Jake Paul stepped in there with a guy who was going to just obliterate him. And so, yeah, this could be the end. This could
if
be the one.
If he gets folded, eyes rolled back in the head, scary scenes.
If he gets memed, it's going to be
Dana
pretty
White
rough.
has been openly dismissive of Jake Paul, saying he stopped paying attention to him after Paul lost to a legitimate boxer. White doesn't take much stock in Paul's previous fights, calling them little more than pay-per-view spectacles rather than real boxing contests. He even laughed off legal threats from Paul's team over claims of fixed fights, pointing out that while Paul's bouts aren't necessarily rigged, they often don't represent true competitive boxing. Despite all the criticism and skepticism surrounding the matchup, the financial stakes for Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua are enormous. Multiple reports suggest the total purse could reach around $184 million, with each fighter potentially walking away with about $92 million. That kind of payday is life-changing, especially for Paul, and it makes taking the risk far more appealing. Even in defeat, the money alone makes the gamble worth considering. For Joshua, the payout is also massive, offering a huge financial reward that could justify stepping into a high-risk fight, knowing the potential returns are enormous.
See the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami.
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they finally been waiting.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you really think Jake Paul has what it takes to beat Anthony Joshua, or is this fight just an enormous gamble with too much on the line? Share your take. Who do you see coming out on top when a social media star faces a true heavyweight champion?